Good afternoon, everyone. I'm so privileged actually to be invited by Shanita on behalf of the Federation of Reproductive Health Associations Malaysia. How many of you have heard of this association? Oh, great, yeah. Okay, so for the benefit of those who haven't, I'll just briefly run through to tell you what we do at FRHAM, right? Because the activities are actually very diversified. And given 20 minutes here, I will only touch on a few topics based on grassroots level. Okay, our association was established in 1958, and we aim to educate, promote, and support Malaysians in family planning. That's how we started the FP movement. In fact, we were the advocacies. When we started in 1958, the government then did not have any national planning, family planning policy. But after that, they started the National Family Planning and Development Board, right? And we also look into responsible parenthood, so we don't just talk about the mothers, it's the whole family per se. And we are a member of the IPPF, which is the International Planned Parenthood Federation. So this is our slogan. We look into access. That means expanding sexual and reproductive health, or I'll be using SRH quite a lot in the presentation, and also family planning, FP, and to all who need this service. Okay, so not just to married couples. And our slogan is, now many people initially when I tell them I'm helping out in the family planning association, people say, wait, why? You want to make families small? But actually family planning involves spacing as well. So we have not too early, not too late, and not too close. Advocacy, okay, we do advocate access to reproductive health for everyone, including now the key population, the marginalized groups that will include the transgender, the transsexuals, and MSM, men having sex with men. And the other A that we do is, of course, to advocate, promote SRH information to young people. And these are the ones who are going to be very productive. They will be the ones contributing to the economy of the country. And so that's why it's important that they know. Okay, and we have been very active in HIV/AIDS and HIV education since I think the 1990s. In fact, I actually come from the Penang Association. We have started AIDS education to young people and the general public as far back as early 1990s. The first AIDS, I think, case was discovered in Malaysia in 1986. And I'm very proud to say that Penang has been awarded the Dr. Siti Hasma Red Ribbon Award for the field of our work in HIV/AIDS. Okay, and the fifth A is related to abortion-related services. So quite a lot of the work that we do can be termed and deemed as sensitive, but we need to help these people. The association does not do abortion per se, but we do counseling. We also advocate for elimination of unsafe abortions, and we make sure that there is effective use of contraceptives to avoid unwanted pregnancies. And now, with the rising population who are growing older, just like in many of the developed countries, FRHAM has already included the last A, which is aging. So we are also providing reproductive health services to those who are the populations who are over from 60 years and above. That's the definition under UN and WHO. Okay, every state in the country has family planning. In the past we would call family planning association. So I actually come from the Penang chapter. Okay, these are some of the pictures, and these are the services that we do. Okay, so with the maternity protection, so I will be talking about maybe a few of the things that we do under FRHAM. This typo error. Okay, one of the things, since we are a family planning federation, it would be good to upscale and increase promotion of family planning as a health strategy in society. Now, I just came from a seminar organized by the Obstetrical and Gynecological Society, Malaysia, which is running a basic contraceptives course for all the medical caregivers, doctors, pharmacists, nurses in Komta. So one may think, why we seem to know everything about contraceptives, but actually there's still so much to learn, right? And so, although the rate of unmet needs for family planning has already been reduced, there is still some unmet need. As you can see in Peninsular Malaysia, those using any method, the unmet need is still 24.7%, and those using modern methods is about 36.2%. In Sabah, we have an unmet need of 23.8%, and using any method, modern method, 31.3%. Sarawak, a little bit higher, 24%, and using modern methods, 30%. So we actually need to have more programs on information and promoting reproductive health to enable couples, not just the mothers, to make decisions on the number of children that they have and also to space the children. Even now, in a modern age, we still see only the women, mostly women, coming to our clinics. So we need to encourage more men to make the decisions for family planning. And we also found that actually reproductive health risks also endanger many of the older women who give birth. Between aged 40 to 44, these women contributed about 51% of the total births. Those aged 45 to 49, they contribute about less, 0.4%. And 12% and 1.6% of these women, respectively, make up maternal deaths. So we also have to look at older women who need to be given counseling and knowledge on contraceptives. Also the type of contraceptives that they use and how effective can they be. Just now the doctor who spoke at the seminar did mention that many women use contraceptives but not effectively, just because they do not have the knowledge. Okay, so increasing the and upscaling promotion of family planning is one thing I think that need to be looked into. And the next one is to provide linkages of family planning with other reproductive health programs. Now, so talking about family planning or other contraceptives, it's not just enough to talk about spacing of children and number of children. Now with the globalization, many other things have come in. family planning, especially usage of condoms, is also meant for prevention of the STIs and including HIV. Right, so in the earlier phase of the AIDS pandemic, the intravenous drug user was the key driven factor. They were the main spread of the infection. But with the harm reduction program in 2005, HIV infection due to sharing of needles decreased considerably. And in 2011, sexual transmission superseded the IDU spread. Okay, and males continue to represent the majority of those infected. In fact, 90% of the cumulative HIV cases, and 48% of these acquired through injecting needles. 47% was by heterosexual transmission. And for females, 87 of the females who were infected actually was through heterosexual transmission. So there we have the need to educate the people, especially the men, to use maybe condoms, especially when they go back home, so that they get protected. Now, the Family Health Development Association, that's in Penang, that's what we call ourselves, run free STI clinics once a month at our static clinic in Kampung Kolam. Kampung Kolam, for those of you who know where it is in Penang, is in an area where the lower socioeconomic status people lived in the past, but now it's bustling because it's within the heritage area. And we can also call ourselves, our own clinic as a heritage clinic because we started way back in 1961, okay? And so what happens is our association, the staff, and some of the volunteers will be going out in a van to the areas where you have the street people. They could be the trishaw riders, the transsexuals, the homosexuals, the gay people, as well as sex workers. So we round them up and then we bring them to the clinic. Volunteer doctors will screen them. And if they have been found to have serious conditions, our outreach workers will take them to the clinic, because many of them, if you just tell them, okay, now I will give you a chit, you go to the general hospital clinic and get yourself examined because the specialists are there. They won't go because they are a stigmatized group. But because of the rapport that we establish with these people, they sort of trust us. So they will come to our clinic. So if we don't have outreach workers to hold their hand to go to the clinics, then the seriousness of the infection, I think, will spread. So this is one of the things that we do. And in a way, it helps to protect the clients, as well as when the clients go home, protect their spouses. So linkages of family planning with other reproductive health programs is essential. And still, while we are talking about HIV, here are some of the measures that have been implemented by the country to combat the spread. Includes blood screening, educational campaigns, and antiretroviral treatment, and distribution of condoms, as well as non-discriminatory policies. FRHAM actually is the key NGO in the field of FP and RH. And to educate the people, FRHAM has also developed a module called the Reproductive Health module for adolescents, which is, in short, is called the FRHAM. And this was launched by the Ministry of Education in the year 2000. We also have helped to develop one module called Life's Journey is in Bahasa called Perjalanan Hidup, mainly for juveniles, those who are in delinquent homes. And this one has a greater concentration on HIV contact, right? And FRAM implemented projects which have been deemed sensitive, promoting SRH to the general public and the vulnerable population groups. Right, the last part that I want to talk about is preventing unwanted pregnancies and unsafe abortion. So due to the rising problems of youth sexuality, pregnancies, and abandoned babies, it's a cause of concern. And the government actually has approved the RH and social education policy, and so this is given high priority. But actually, some pregnancies have been maybe unintended or unwanted, and so they do cause maternal deaths. So we have to ensure that we give protection to these young mothers. In Penang, we do have a shelter for unmarried women, and some of those who go there are students. They are in Form 5, that means 17-year-olds and 16-year-olds. And some of them do come in not just once, but a few times. So we also give them counseling for family planning and contraceptives, so to ensure that they are safe when they leave the home, right? Okay, so AERO actually has done a survey on 120 doctors and nurses, and they found that actually 43% of them responded incorrectly about the legalities of abortion in Malaysia. Actually, to a certain extent, abortion is legal. Under Section 312 of the Penal Code, termination of pregnancy is legal as long as a medical practitioner registered under the Medical Act is of the opinion, formed in good faith, that the continuance of the pregnancy would involve risk to the life of the woman or injury to the mental and physical health of the pregnant woman. And so, if this were followed through, many of the girls who suddenly find themselves pregnant, then they can go to people who are qualified for abortions. Otherwise, there are cases of abortion jobs done by unqualified persons. So this will help to save the young people, the girls actually. Okay, and so on FRAM's part, we provide pre and post counseling on abortion-related issues. Okay, thank you.
Any questions? Can we perhaps just take one for now? And over lunch, perhaps those who have further questions, or if you want to discuss issues, perhaps you can approach Ms. Yeap directly. Are there any questions? No? I have one. Go on, Heather. Yes, please.
I was just wondering if you could expand a little bit on the topic of abortion. So I was wondering when Section 312, so when Section 312 of the Penal Code came in, and how accessible is abortion? So is it very easy to get to a clinic if you need one, or is it simply this issue of doctors misunderstanding the legalities?
Thank you for the question. That's what AERO found in their survey. Actually, although following the penal code, it can be legal with doctor's consent, still I think there are not many doctors willing to do it. So not that easy. So if it is, we have clients, actually pregnant girls being brought in by the mothers, some of them by boyfriends, and we give them counseling, we give them a choice whether they want to go through the pregnancy or do they want an abortion. And then we refer them to a qualified clinic which does abortion, because our clinic don't do that. So not that easy actually. And many doctors here, we have done data, we try to get data from doctors which we know perform abortions, but they refuse to admit that they do. So until now, FRAM has been trying to get a sort of a compilation of the data, so that at least if people call up, we have desperate, girls, sometimes teachers bring them in, call up, then at least we can refer them to the doctors. Otherwise, I think then we will lose the girl, lady, victim to unqualified people.
I saw another hand go up. Was there another hand who went up? Okay.
Mine can see me.
Okay, can see you later. Okay. Can we break for lunch now? Okay. Can I just say as well, I would really appreciate it if everybody was back here for 2 o'clock, so that we can engage in conversation with the other stakeholders who will be here. So please come back here for the start, okay? Thank you very much. And thank you.